My parents did not ask if I would go. They told me the car was already outside. Noah Bennett stared at his father across the narrow kitchen table, waiting for the sentence to become less insane if nobody spoke for a few seconds. It did not. The microwave clock read 11:47 p.m. His laptop sat open beside a half-finished branding project. His coffee had gone cold, and somewhere below his third-floor Chicago apartment, a car engine idled steadily against the quiet street. Noah looked toward the window. A black sedan waited beneath the yellow glow of a street lamp. "Okay," he said slowly. "I am going to give you one chance to explain why this evening suddenly feels like the worst family meeting in recorded history." His mother sat beside his father with both hands wrapped around her purse. She had barely looked at him since arriving. That was when Noah knew the problem was bigger than another missed payment or another desperate request for money. His father placed a cream-colored folder on the table. "We owe people." Noah almost laughed. "You always owe people. Not like this." "Excellent. Love an upgrade." Nobody smiled. Noah's stomach tightened. He opened the folder. Numbers filled the first page. Company names filled the second. The amount near the bottom was so large he read it twice before looking up. "How?" His father rubbed a hand over his face. "Bad investments. Loans. We thought we could fix it. You thought wrong." "Noah." "No. I am genuinely fascinated. What was the next part of this brilliant financial strategy?" His mother finally spoke. "The Vale family offered a settlement." The name changed the room. Noah knew it. Everyone in Chicago had heard some version of it. Vale Holdings owned restaurants, properties, logistics companies, and enough legitimate businesses that nobody asked too loudly about the rumors attached to the family behind them. At the center of those rumors was Adrian Vale, the 30-year-old heir newspapers politely called a businessman and everyone else called the prince. Noah looked at the sedan again. "What did you promise them?" His parents exchanged a glance. Noah hated that glance. It was the look people shared when the worst part had already been decided somewhere without you. "Tell me," he said. His father swallowed. "You." For 1 second, Noah heard nothing except the refrigerator humming behind him. "Me. The agreement says the debt will be suspended if you go with them while the arrangement is finalized." Noah stood. "What arrangement?" "We were told you would be safe." "That was not my question." His mother reached toward him but stopped before touching his arm. "Please understand. We did not know what else to do." Noah stared at her. "You could have started with not volunteering your adult son as a payment method." 3 quiet knocks came from the apartment door. His father looked down. His mother closed her eyes. Neither of them moved. Noah almost admired the efficiency of their cowardice. He picked up the folder and walked toward the door. 2 men in dark coats stood in the hallway, calm and professional, neither making any move toward him. The taller one gave a polite nod. "Mr. Bennett?" "Depends who is asking." "We are here on behalf of Mr. Vale." Noah looked past them toward the stairwell, then back at his parents. "And if I say no?" The man answered without hesitation. "Then you stay here." Noah blinked. That was not the answer he expected. "Seriously? Mr. Vale instructed us not to force you anywhere." Noah looked at the folder in his hand. If he stayed, he would learn nothing. If he went, at least he could meet the man whose name was attached to this nightmare and demand an explanation himself. He grabbed his jacket. His mother stood. "Noah." He paused at the doorway and looked back at both of them. "Whatever happens next, remember something." His voice was quieter now. "You did not save this family tonight. You just taught me exactly what I was worth to you." Then Noah stepped into the hallway, closed the door behind him, and followed the 2 strangers downstairs toward the waiting car. The sedan smelled faintly like leather, coffee, and the kind of money Noah had never personally encountered. He sat in the back seat with the folder on his lap, watching Chicago pass beyond the window while the 2 men from his apartment remained politely silent. Nobody had taken his phone. Nobody had told him where to sit. Nobody had even asked him to stop sending increasingly sarcastic text messages to his best friend. Somehow, that made everything stranger. Noah looked at the man in the passenger seat. "So, is there usually a welcome packet for this sort of thing?" The man glanced back. "What sort of thing?" "Being exchanged for catastrophic financial decision-making." "You are not being exchanged." Noah lifted the folder. "My parents seemed confused about that." The driver kept his eyes on the road. "Mr. Vale will explain." "Wonderful. I was worried the mysterious rich man at the end of this drive might be unavailable for questions." They left the brighter streets behind, moving toward quieter neighborhoods where houses grew larger and sidewalks seemed to disappear entirely. About 40 minutes later, the sedan turned onto a private road bordered by tall trees and low stone walls. Ahead, iron gates opened slowly beneath security lights. Noah leaned toward the window. Subtle. Beyond the gates stood a wide stone estate surrounded by carefully trimmed grounds, warm light glowing from tall windows. It looked less like a criminal headquarters and more like the home of someone who owned several libraries and had strong opinions about imported flooring. The sedan stopped beneath a covered entrance. Noah stepped out with his jacket pulled tightly around him and looked up at the house. If somebody offers me a monocle, I am leaving. The taller escort actually smiled this time. This way, Mr. Bennett. Inside, the estate was almost painfully quiet. Dark wood floors reflected soft golden light. Framed paintings lined the hallways. Somewhere deeper inside, an old clock marked midnight. Noah followed his escort through 2 large rooms and into a library with shelves stretching nearly to the ceiling. A man sat behind a broad desk surrounded by financial documents. He looked up when Noah entered. Adrian Vale was not what Noah expected. No dramatic entourage. No oversized jewelry. No theatrical display of power. He wore a charcoal shirt beneath a dark jacket, his black hair neatly styled, his expression calm enough to be annoying. He looked less like a legendary Mafia prince and more like the executive who would reject your business proposal without raising his voice. Adrian stood. Noah Bennett. Noah stopped several feet from the desk. Apparently, Adrian looked toward the escort. Thank you. Leave us. The door closed quietly behind Noah. He immediately noticed that nobody locked it. Adrian gestured toward the chair opposite him. You may sit. I may stand. Also acceptable. Noah dropped the folder onto the desk. Great. We are already establishing healthy boundaries. Adrian opened the folder. His eyes moved quickly across the first page. Your parents gave you this? Right before informing me that I was apparently part of their debt management strategy. Adrian turned another page. His calm expression changed slightly. Noah caught it. What? Adrian did not answer immediately. Noah leaned forward. If you think I am payment, return the receipt. Adrian looked up. I do not think you are payment. Then what am I doing here? Adrian examined the final page, then placed the folder flat on the desk. That is a very good question. Noah stared at him. You are Adrian Vale. Yes. This agreement uses your family name. Yes. My parents believe they gave me to you. Adrian's gaze hardened, but not at Noah. They were wrong. Noah folded his arms. That sounds convenient. Adrian turned the document around and pointed toward the signature line. Look carefully. Noah stepped closer. Adrian Vale was printed beneath the line, but the signature above it was unfamiliar, angular, almost rushed. Noah looked back at him. What am I supposed to see? Adrian met his eyes. That is not my signature. Noah stopped breathing for half a second. Adrian closed the folder. I did not ask for you, Noah. I did not buy you. And whatever arrangement brought you into this house, I did not make it. Noah looked at the signature again, then at Adrian, then back at the signature as if one of them might suddenly confess to being part of an elaborate practical joke. So let me understand this, he said. My parents handed me to your family. Your name is printed on the agreement, and you are telling me you never signed it. Adrian nodded once. Correct. Noah exhaled through his nose. Wonderful. I have officially entered the paperwork phase of my kidnapping. You are not being kidnapped. People keep saying that while driving me to large houses behind iron gates. Adrian's mouth moved slightly, almost a smile, but it disappeared before Noah could decide whether that was more irritating or less. You are free to leave, Adrian said. Noah blinked. Right now? Yes. No dramatic warning? No speech about consequences? No, Noah narrowed his eyes. You are ruining several stereotypes. Adrian folded the agreement and placed it back inside the folder. I will survive. Noah glanced toward the library door. It was still unlocked. He hated that this made him hesitate. If Adrian had blocked the exit, Noah would have known exactly what to feel. Anger was simple. Suspicion was simple. An open door was complicated. Fine, Noah said. I am leaving. Adrian did not stop him. Noah walked out of the library, through the quiet hallway, and toward the front entrance. A staff member opened the door before he even reached it. Cold night air rushed across his face. The driveway stretched toward the iron gates, which were already opening. Noah pulled out his phone. "This is absurdly easy," he muttered. "That is because I meant what I said." Adrian's voice came from behind him. Noah turned. Adrian stood beneath the covered entrance holding a tablet. "You followed me. I walked 30 feet. Still counts." Adrian held out the tablet. "Before you go, look at this." Noah hesitated, then took it. The screen showed a grainy image from a storefront security camera near his apartment. Noah recognized the corner immediately. He was visible carrying groceries. Across the street sat a dark SUV. Adrian swiped to another image. Same vehicle. Different day. Then another. Noah leaving a coffee shop. Same SUV parked half a block away. Another image showed the vehicle near the entrance to his building. Noah stopped joking. "How many times?" he asked. "At least 6 that we can confirm from private security footage." "Over how long?" 9 days. Noah looked up. "Before my parents brought me here." "Yes." The wind moved through the trees behind them. The open gate suddenly seemed farther away. "Is that vehicle connected to you?" Noah asked. "No." "Do you know who owns it?" "Not yet." Noah stared at the screen again. "And you expect me to stay because of this?" Adrian shook his head. "I expect you to decide with all the information available." "That sounds very noble." "It is meant to be practical." Noah handed the tablet back. "What happens if I walk out?" "Nothing from me. And from whoever has been following me." Adrian's expression tightened slightly. "That is the part one cannot answer yet." Noah looked toward the road beyond the gates. His apartment was about 40 minutes away. His laptop was there. His clothes were there. His entire normal life was there. So was whoever had apparently been watching him before any of this began. "I hate this," Noah said. "That seems reasonable." "I also hate that you are being reasonable." Adrian said nothing. Noah stood there another few seconds, then turned away from the gate and walked back toward the house. "For the record," he said as he passed Adrian, "I am not staying because you told me to." Adrian followed at an easy distance. "I did not tell you to." Noah looked over his shoulder. "That is somehow worse." Adrian opened the door for him. "Welcome back." Noah stepped inside and immediately regretted how much safer the warm hallway felt. By 8 the next morning, Noah had learned 3 important things about the Vale estate. First, the guest room was larger than his entire apartment living room. Second, the mattress was offensively comfortable. Third, nothing made a person feel less like a prisoner than discovering the bedroom door had no lock on the outside, and the Wi-Fi password was written neatly on a card beside a bowl of fruit. Noah stood in the middle of the room wearing yesterday's jeans and a borrowed gray sweatshirt someone had left folded on the chair. "This is the world's most polite hostage situation," he muttered. A knock sounded. Noah looked toward the door. "Come in." A woman in her 60s entered carrying a tray with coffee, toast, eggs, and a small bowl of berries. "Mr. Vale asked me to bring breakfast." Noah stared at the tray. "Did he also ask you to make this place feel like a boutique hotel?" She smiled. "No. That part is natural." Noah pointed at the coffee. "Please tell me that is normal coffee and not something that costs $20 because the beans were emotionally supported." 2 sugars, cream, no flavored syrup." Noah went still. "How do you know that?" Mr. Vale told the kitchen. Of course he did. Because apparently Adrian Vale had taken one look at Noah's life and decided caffeine details were worth memorizing. "That is unsettling," Noah said. "Most people call it attentive. Most people are wrong." She left before he could ask anything else. Noah drank the coffee anyway. It was exactly right. Annoyingly right. By 10, he was downstairs in the library with his laptop open, trying to answer work emails while pretending the estate did not exist around him. A client wanted a logo moved half an inch to the left. Another wanted something that felt more premium, but younger. Noah read that sentence 3 times and briefly considered changing careers. Adrian entered carrying a tablet. "Working, allegedly. You have everything you need? Freedom would be nice." Adrian stopped beside the desk. "Working on it." Noah looked up. "You say that with disturbing confidence." "I prefer solutions to speeches." "That explains why you are terrible at dramatic villainy." Adrian's expression softened by a fraction. "I will try to improve." Noah hated that he was getting better at recognizing Adrian's almost smiles. Adrian set the tablet down. "Until we identify the SUV, I have 3 requests." Requests. Very democratic. Do not leave the property alone. Do not discuss the debt with anyone outside the house unless we know who they are. If you need to go somewhere, tell me and I will arrange a safe way to do it. Noah folded his arms. And if I ignore all three? I will tell you I think it is a bad idea. That is it. That is it. Noah searched his face. You are strangely committed to ruining my assumptions about you. Your assumptions appear dramatic. I was delivered here after midnight in a black sedan. Fair. Noah almost smiled. Almost. Adrian turned to leave, then paused. One more thing. The kitchen has been told not to use peanuts in anything prepared for you. Noah's expression changed. How do you know I am allergic to peanuts? Adrian's voice lowered. It was in the medical information attached to the agreement. The humor disappeared instantly. Noah looked down at his hands. His parents had shared that too. Of course they had. Adrian seemed to understand what the silence meant. They should not have provided personal information without your permission, he said. I am sorry. Noah looked at him. No excuse. No explanation. Just an apology. You apologize a lot for someone with your reputation. Only when I am responsible for fixing something. You are not responsible for my parents. No. But my family name is on the document that brought you here. Noah did not know what to say to that, which was becoming an irritating pattern around Adrian. Later that afternoon, Noah found himself in the kitchen arguing with Adrian over whether cinnamon belonged in coffee, while one of the staff quietly pretended not to listen. It was absurd. Less than 24 hours ago, Noah had been sure Adrian Vale was the problem. Now he was sitting across from him, watching the man patiently explain why cinnamon was apparently a legitimate beverage choice, and realizing something much more inconvenient. Adrian was becoming difficult to fear. By the second afternoon, Noah had begun to understand why expensive houses were dangerous. Not because of the security cameras, the gates, or the family name attached to the property. No, the real danger was that comfort made curiosity feel reasonable. He had already learned where the kitchen kept the good coffee, which hallway led to the library, and exactly which chair near the east window received enough afternoon sun to make answering client emails almost pleasant. That was how Noah ended up at Adrian's desk with a stack of copied documents spread between them, voluntarily reading through financial records connected to his parents' debt. I wanted officially noted that this is not how I plan to spend my Tuesday, Noah said. Adrian did not look up from the page he was reviewing. What was the plan? Finish 2 branding concepts, order takeout, possibly avoid thinking about my family until Thursday. Ambitious. I like structure. Adrian turned a page. So do I. Noah looked around the library. Every folder was aligned. Every pen sat exactly where it belonged. That may be the understatement of the year. Adrian ignored him and slid one document across the desk. Look at the company name. Noah leaned closer. Vale Meridian Holdings. It appeared on the agreement his father had signed, but here it was listed beneath several smaller subsidiaries Noah had never seen before. What am I looking for? The debt was purchased through one of these companies 3 months ago. Noah frowned. Purchased? Your parents originally owed a private lender. That debt was transferred. To your family. To a company associated with my family. Adrian tapped the bottom of the page. There is a difference. Noah followed his finger to an authorization line. A name appeared beneath it. Marcus Vale. Noah read it twice. Who is Marcus? Adrian went still for just long enough to answer before speaking. My uncle. Noah leaned back. Of course your uncle is named Marcus. This entire family sounds like it was cast for a prestige drama. Adrian's expression did not change, but Noah caught the briefest flicker of amusement. Marcus oversees several companies that should have nothing to do with personal debt collection. Should? Exactly. Noah pulled another page closer. Dates. Transfers. Administrative approvals. It was dull enough to be boring until one date caught his attention. Wait. Adrian looked over. Noah pointed. This transfer happened before my parents signed the agreement. Adrian nodded. Yes. So whoever bought the debt was already setting this up before they supposedly offered my parents a solution. That is what it appears to show. Noah stared at the paperwork. The room suddenly felt quieter. Then I was never payment. Adrian's eyes lifted to his. No, so what was I? Adrian did not answer immediately, and Noah hated the pause before he even knew why. Adrian, I am still verifying it. That is not an answer. Adrian closed one folder and opened another. Marcus has been trying to weaken my position within several family companies for nearly a year. Noah folded his arms. And giving me to you somehow helps him do that. If a fraudulent agreement carrying my name becomes public, it creates legal exposure reputational damage, and questions about whether I am using family businesses for personal coercion. Noah's sarcasm vanished. He wanted it to look like you bought a person. Yes. Noah looked down at his own name printed across the first page. The humiliation he had felt in his parents' kitchen suddenly rearranged itself into something colder. So I am not the prize. Adrian's voice was quiet. No. Noah looked at Marcus's signature again. I am the trap. This time Adrian did not correct him. Noah sat very still, listening to the old clock ticking near the shelves. Does Marcus know I am here? Probably. Does he know you figured this out? Not yet. Noah looked toward the tall windows, then back at Adrian. And the SUV? Adrian's expression hardened slightly. We are checking whether it connects to one of Marcus's companies. Noah rubbed a hand over his face. Amazing. I came here thinking my biggest problem was being traded to a Mafia prince. And somehow the truth is more complicated. Adrian closed the folder. The truth usually is. Noah looked at him. You knew some of this already, did you not? Adrian did not answer. And that silence told Noah more than the documents had. Noah let the silence sit between them for exactly 3 seconds before it became unbearable. You knew? Adrian remained beside the desk, one hand resting near the closed folder. I suspected. That is not the same answer. No, it is the accurate one. Noah stood and walked toward the tall windows, mostly because staying seated made him feel too much like he was still waiting for someone else to explain his own life to him. Outside, the estate grounds looked calm beneath the pale afternoon sky. Calm was beginning to feel suspicious. Since when, he asked. Adrian did not answer immediately. Noah turned. Adrian. Since the first night. Noah laughed once, but there was no humor in it. Of course. The company name raised questions. And the forged signature. Yes. And you still let me spend 2 days thinking nobody knew what was happening. Adrian's expression tightened. I did not know. I had a theory. Noah folded his arms. You had enough of a theory to keep me here. You chose to stay after seeing the security footage. After you gave me half the information. Adrian went quiet. Noah felt the anger settle more clearly now. It was not the kind that made him want to leave the room. It was worse. It made him want Adrian to understand. My parents already did this, Noah said. They decided what I needed to know. They decided what I could handle. They made a choice for me and called it necessary. Adrian's eyes stayed on him. Noah, no. You do not get to become better than them by doing the same thing more politely. The words landed hard enough that even Noah wanted to take a breath afterward. Adrian did not defend himself. He looked down at the documents for a moment, then back at Noah. You are right. Noah blinked. That was disturbingly fast. Would you prefer an argument? I prepared several excellent points. You can still use them. Noah stared at him, then shook his head. Do not make me laugh. I am trying to be angry. Adrian almost smiled, but stopped himself. I should have told you what I suspected from the beginning. Yes. I thought giving you an unconfirmed theory would make the situation worse. That was my decision to make. Yes. Noah's shoulders lowered slightly despite himself. Adrian stepped away from the desk, but kept several feet between them. I believe keeping you here while I verified Marcus's involvement was the safest option. I still think it reduced the risk. But safety does not give me the right to decide what you know. Noah watched him carefully. Protecting someone does not mean choosing for them. Adrian nodded. I understand. Do you? I am beginning to. The honesty in that answer was irritatingly effective. Noah looked away. You are supposed to be harder to argue with. I can pretend if that helps. It does not. Silence returned, but this time it felt different. Less. Like a wall. Noah glanced toward the folder. Why are you doing all of this yourself? Adrian's expression shifted. What do you mean? You have attorneys, staff, security, probably an entire department for terrifying spreadsheets. You could have put me in a hotel and let someone else deal with me. You are not something to deal with. Noah looked at him. Adrian seemed to realize what he had said only after the words were already there. That was almost nice, Noah said. Do not sound so surprised. I am adjusting. Adrian exhaled quietly. You were brought into this because someone used my name. At first, I felt responsible. Noah caught the phrasing. At first, Adrian's gaze held his. Then I got to know you. Noah's heartbeat stumbled in a way he strongly objected to. That sounds dangerously personal. It probably is. For once, Noah had no immediate joke ready. Adrian looked away first. Tomorrow morning, I am giving you keys to a secure apartment downtown. A new phone. Transportation if you want it. You can leave this house and stay somewhere with no direct connection to me. Noah stared. You already arranged that? Yes. And if I go? You go. No conditions? None. Noah studied him for several seconds. You are serious. Completely. Adrian's voice softened. You wanted your choice back. You should have had it from the beginning. Noah woke before the alarm he had never set, which felt rude considering freedom was supposed to come with better sleep. For a few seconds, he forgot where he was. Then he saw the tall windows, the polished dresser, and the folded clothes on the chair, and everything returned at once. The agreement. Marcus. The SUV. Adrian standing in the library and admitting he had been wrong. Noah stared at the ceiling. Great, he muttered. Personal growth before breakfast. Exactly what I wanted. At 7:30, someone knocked. Noah opened the door and found Adrian in the hallway holding a phone, a small envelope, and a set of keys. No suit jacket this time. Just a dark sweater, black pants, and the same unreadable calm that was becoming less unreadable every day. You are alarmingly punctual, Noah said. You were already awake. That is not the point. Adrian handed him the phone. New number. Only a few people have it. Then the keys. The apartment is downtown, near the river. Furnished. Secure building. No public connection to the Vale family. Noah looked down at the keys in his palm. They were ordinary. Silver. Light. Somehow heavier than the folder his parents had given him. And this is mine. For as long as you need it. No contract. No hidden conditions. No dramatic clause requiring me to attend family dinners. Adrian looked almost offended. I would not do that to you. Noah laughed despite himself. Finally, a threat I believe. They went downstairs together. Morning light filled the front hall, pale and quiet. The iron gates beyond the driveway stood open. Fully open. Noah stopped near the entrance. Adrian remained a few feet behind him, not blocking the door, not reaching for the keys, not trying to make the moment easier. If I leave, Noah said, you are not sending someone after me? Only if you ask for security. You are not checking the building cameras every 10 minutes. Adrian paused. I would prefer to know you arrived safely. Noah raised an eyebrow. That sounds suspiciously close to monitoring. Then send me one message when you get there. Noah considered that. Acceptable. Adrian nodded. Noah slipped the keys into his pocket. He had wanted this. His own space. His own decisions. No one explaining what was best for him. So why did leaving feel less like winning and more like walking away from something unfinished? You owe me nothing, Adrian said quietly. Noah looked at him. Not for the debt. Not for the apartment. Not for anything that happened here. Not even an explanation for leaving. Only if you want to give one. Noah swallowed. That answer irritated him because it was exactly right. You really have been paying attention. I try. Noah looked toward the open gate. This is strange. Which part? The part where I spent 2 days wanting to get away from you, and now you are making it difficult by being reasonable. Adrian's mouth curved slightly. I can become less reasonable. Too late. The ride downtown took about 40 minutes. Noah watched the city grow denser beyond the window, familiar streets replacing private roads and stone walls. The apartment was on the 8th floor of a modern building near the river. 1 bedroom, small kitchen, large windows, clean furniture, no family portraits, no old clocks, no Adrian. Noah set his bag down and stood in the middle of the living room. Freedom, he announced. The refrigerator hummed in response. By noon, he had unpacked, answered 5 emails, rearranged a lamp twice, and discovered something deeply offensive. The apartment was perfect. Too perfect. Nobody knocked to ask if he had eaten. Nobody argued that cinnamon belonged in coffee. Nobody stood in the doorway pretending not to smile at his jokes. Noah made his own coffee and took 1 sip. Wrong amount of cream. He stared at the cup like it had betrayed him personally. Absolutely not. His phone remained silent. Adrian had not texted. Of course he had not. Noah had asked for space, and Adrian was actually giving it to him, which was inconsiderate in a completely new way. At 2:16, Noah's phone buzzed. He grabbed it far too quickly. Not Adrian. His mother. 1 email. No subject line. 1 attachment. Noah opened it. Financial records filled the screen, with Marcus Vale's name appearing beneath several transfers he had not seen before. At the top, his mother had written a single sentence. We should have told you the truth before any of this happened. Noah stared at the message, then at the apartment door. For the first time since the black sedan arrived, nobody was telling him where to go, which meant the next move was entirely his. Noah read his mother's email 3 times before deciding that staring at it longer would not make the betrayal more organized. The attachment contained transfer records, company authorizations, and dates that connected Marcus Vale directly to the purchase of his parents' debt. More importantly, there was a message chain showing that the arrangement involving Noah had been discussed before Adrian ever knew his name. Noah leaned back against the couch and stared at the ceiling. "Excellent," he muttered. "Apparently my family disaster came. With receipts." He could have forwarded everything to Adrian. That would have been sensible, efficient, emotionally safe. Noah opened a new message and typed, "I found something important." He stared at the words, deleted them. Then he typed, "Your uncle is worse at hiding financial crimes than my clients are at choosing fonts." Deleted that too. 20 minutes later, Noah was standing in the elevator with the documents saved on his phone, his jacket zipped, and absolutely no convincing explanation for why he needed to deliver information that could have traveled perfectly well through email. The drive back to the Vale estate took 40 minutes. Noah spent the first 20 telling himself he was returning because the evidence mattered. He spent the next 10 admitting that explanation was incomplete. By the final 10, he had given up arguing with himself entirely. The iron gates opened after the driver gave Noah's name. No questions. No hesitation. He watched the long driveway appear ahead and felt something inside him settle in a way he strongly resented. A staff member greeted him at the entrance. "Mr. Vale is in the library." "Of course he is," Noah said. "If that man ever discovers recreational hobbies, please alert the authorities." The library doors were open. Adrian stood behind the desk, reading a document beneath the warm light of a brass lamp. He looked up when Noah entered. Surprise crossed his face so clearly that Noah almost stopped walking. "Noah, hi." Adrian set the paper down. "Is something wrong with the apartment?" "No, it is perfect. Suspiciously perfect. I moved a lamp 3 times out of spite." Adrian's expression softened. "Then why are you here?" Noah held up his phone. "My mother sent me records." Adrian came around the desk, but stopped several feet away. Noah handed him the phone. Adrian read silently, his attention sharpening with every page. "This confirms Marcus authorized the debt transfer before your parents signed the agreement," he said. "And there are internal messages connecting his office directly to the arrangement." "That is what I thought. This may be enough for the attorneys to establish that the agreement was deliberately created using my name." Noah nodded. "Good." Adrian handed the phone back. "I will have counsel copy everything. You should keep the originals and the email account untouched." "Fine. I can arrange a car back whenever you are ready." Noah stared at him. Adrian noticed. "What?" "Nothing." That was clearly something. Noah sighed. "You really think I drove 40 minutes because I could not find the forward button?" Adrian went very still. "I did not want to assume." Of course he did not. That was the problem. Adrian had listened. He had changed. He was giving Noah exactly the space Noah demanded, and somehow that made the truth impossible to hide behind irritation. Noah looked toward the open library doors behind him. "Open. Always open now. My parents sent me here because they thought they could decide what happened to me," Noah said. "You made the same mistake for a while." Adrian's expression tightened. "I know." "Then you stopped." Silence settled between them. Noah stepped closer. "You gave me keys. A phone. An apartment. You told me I owed you nothing. You do not." "I know." Noah smiled faintly. "That is why this matters." Adrian watched him carefully. "What matters?" Noah swallowed. "I came back because I wanted to see you." For once, Adrian had no immediate answer. Noah almost laughed at the novelty. "Do not look so shocked. It is damaging your reputation." Adrian's mouth curved slowly. "I am adjusting." "Good. Because I am keeping the apartment." "You should." "I am keeping my own life." "Absolutely." Noah nodded. "But I also want to help finish this. And after that, I think I want to find out why leaving you felt easier than staying away." Adrian's expression softened completely. "That sounds like something worth finding out." Noah looked at the open door one more time, then back at him. For the first time, returning did not feel like surrender. It felt like a choice. For the next 3 weeks, Noah discovered that bringing down a carefully constructed financial scheme involved far fewer dramatic confrontations than television had promised, and far more meetings with attorneys who used phrases like supporting documentation and chain of authorization. Marcus's involvement became impossible to ignore once the records from Noah's mother were compared with the forged agreement, the debt transfer, and internal company messages. Vale Family Council removed Marcus from control of the businesses he had been using. Outside investigators received copies of the evidence, and Noah's parents were formally separated from the fraudulent arrangement while their legitimate financial obligations were reviewed on their own. Nobody celebrated. Adrian simply closed one final folder in the library and said, "It is finished." Noah looked up from his laptop. "That is all I get." Adrian raised an eyebrow. "Were you expecting fireworks?" "At minimum, a dramatic orchestra. I can ask the staff." "Please do not. They already think I am difficult." "They are correct." Noah smiled despite himself. Somewhere along the way, the estate had stopped feeling like a place he had been taken and started feeling like somewhere he chose to visit. He still kept the downtown apartment. His keys stayed in his pocket. His clothes stayed in his closet. His mail went to his own address. Adrian never suggested otherwise. Instead, Noah came by for dinner, stayed late over coffee, and occasionally worked from the library because the afternoon light was better there and because Adrian was usually somewhere nearby pretending not to notice when Noah stole the good pens. One rainy Friday evening, Noah realized he had been sitting in the same chair for almost an hour after finishing his work. No files remained on the table. No legal problem needed solving. No reason existed for him to stay. Adrian sat across from him reading something on his tablet. "Your car arrived 20 minutes ago," he said without looking up. Noah glanced toward the open library door. "I know. Do you want me to send it away?" "Maybe." Adrian set the tablet down. "Maybe is not usually your preferred answer. I am expanding emotionally. It is exhausting." Adrian smiled. Noah looked at the rain tracing silver lines down the tall windows. "Can I ask you something?" "Always." "When I came back with the evidence, did you think I was staying because I felt obligated?" Adrian considered the question. "For about 5 minutes." "Only 5. Then you complained about the apartment lamp and insulted my reputation." "That seemed voluntary." Noah laughed softly. "Good." Silence settled between them, comfortable now. Noah turned his apartment keys over in his hand. "My family tried to give me away." Adrian's expression changed immediately. Noah continued before he could respond. "For a while, I thought you were just another person deciding where I belonged." "I know, but you were the one who opened the gate." Adrian stayed quiet. "You gave me somewhere else to live. You told me I owed you nothing. You made sure I could leave." Noah looked directly at him. "That is the part everyone else got wrong." Adrian's voice was low. "What part?" Noah stood and crossed the space between them. "You did not make me yours." Adrian went still. Noah stopped close enough to see the question in his eyes, but not so close that the answer was assumed. "You made it possible for me to choose." Adrian's expression softened. "And what are you choosing?" Noah looked toward the open door one last time. Then he reached out and took Adrian's hand. "You." The word felt simple. That was what made it real. Adrian looked down at their joined hands before meeting Noah's eyes again. "Are you sure?" "Completely. You still have your apartment." "I know. Your own life." "Also aware. And you can leave whenever you want." Noah smiled. "That is exactly why I am staying." Adrian's hand tightened gently around his. No claim. No demand. Just an answer to the choice Noah had already made. A few minutes later, another message came from the driver asking whether Noah was coming downstairs. Adrian glanced at the phone. "Should I tell him you are leaving?" Noah looked at the rain, the open door, the keys still resting in his pocket, and the man standing beside him. "Tonight." He smiled. "No. Tonight I am staying."